All right, ladies and gentlemen, today we're talking about absolute value. Does anybody remember what absolute value is? Okay, absolute value looks like two lines. So if I said the absolute value of like -2, what's the absolute value of -2? Anybody remember?
Positive 2.
Positive 2. What is the absolute value of 3? No. 3. Absolute value does not mean opposite. It means whatever you put between those two lines has to come out positive. Not opposite, positive. So an absolute value equation is the equation of the absolute value of x equals 8, or the form absolute value of ax plus b equals c. You can solve this type of equation by solving two related linear equations. For c is greater than or equal to 0, x is the solution of the absolute value of ax plus b equals c. If x is a solution of ax plus b equals c, or ax plus b equals -c. For c is less than 0, the absolute value equation, ax plus b equals c has no solution, since absolute value always indicates a number that is negative. Okay, so let's talk about this. If we're looking at example 1, where we have the absolute value of x equals 8, what are the two possibilities we could stick in for x and get out a positive 8? We could get x equals 8 or x equals -8, because once we stick it in the absolute value sign, it would come out as positive.
Wait a minute, hold on. So you said
Whatever I stick between that absolute value sign has to come out positive. So I could stick a -8 or a positive 8. So what about this, ladies and gentlemen? The absolute value of x equals -10. What numbers could I stick in for x and get out a -10?
just positive 10. X equals positive.
What's the absolute value of 10? It's 10, right?
Oh, X
What's
is
the absolute value of -10?
10.
10. So this is, there we go, no solution.
What?
There is no number you can stick in for the absolute value of x that will come out with a negative number. So if it ever equals a negative number, there is no solution, because you can never stick a number in there that will come out as negative. Okay, so now we're going to talk about an equation with absolute value. So we've got the absolute value of x minus 2 equals 5. Okay, what are the two possible answers I can get? I can get 5 or I can get what? What is the other solution? Because my answer, when I stick it in here, I have to make it positive. So what is the other one it could be? X minus 2 could equal -5. There we go. Okay, so we're going to solve for both of these. We're going to add 2 to both sides. So x equals 7. We're going to add 2 to both sides. X equals -3. Let's check these answers this one time to make sure they work. I won't make you check them every time. Okay, so if we have the absolute value of 7 minus 2 equals 5. 7 minus 2 is 5, and the absolute value of 5 is 5. So that works out just perfectly. Okay, let's look at the other side. If we have the absolute value of -3 minus 2 equals 5. What's -3 minus 2? -5. What is the absolute value of -5? 5. So that worked out too. All right. Let's look at one more thing. Hold on one second. On to example 3. Okay? Example 3. So there's a second step we have to do in it. Let's look and see if we can figure this out. The absolute value of 2x minus 7 minus 5 equals 4. Here's my question. Can I just make 1 equals to -4 and 1 equal to 4 now?
No.
What do I have to get rid of first? You got to add 5 to both sides, because it's not within the absolute value symbols. Okay? So since it's not in between these, first we add 5 to both sides. Then we have the absolute value of 2x minus 7 equals 9. Now this is where we separate it because two possible answers to this equation. 9 or negative 9. So we can have 2x minus 7 equals 9 or 2x minus 7 equals negative 9. Okay, so I'm going to add 7 to both sides. 2x equals 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Divide both sides by 2. X equals 8 is one answer. The other side, I'm going to add 7 to both sides. 2x equals negative 2. Divide both sides by 2. X equals negative 1. So let's make sure these work in our head. 8 times 2 is 16. 16 minus 7 is 9. 9 minus 5 is 4. So I know that one works. Let's try this one. What's 2 times negative 1? So negative 2 minus 7, negative 7, 8, 9, negative 9. What's the absolute value of negative 9? Positive 9. 9 minus 5 is 4, so that one works. Let's turn it over and look at the other side. This one's a little confusing. Okay, we want to write an absolute value solution that is either 7 or 15. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a number line. Because we want the answer to be 7 or 15. Okay, so we know those are my answers. So I've got to figure out what the problem is. So the first thing I'm going to do is find the very middle. If I move in 1, 2, 3, 4, I've got to move in 1, 2, 3, 4. So the middle is 11. Okay? So we want to do the absolute value of 11 minus 4. And that, no, that's not true. So we know that the difference between the two to get to the middle is 4. And we know that the very middle of it is 11. So what we're going to do for this problem is, do I have a problem like this for you in your homework before I? To give you a problem like this. Yes. How did you do 11? Because 11 is right in between. So I made a number line, right? So I made a number line between 7 and 15. And I wanted to find the very middle between 7 and 15. So I counted. I'm going to show you. So I counted in, so it takes 4 to get to each side. Okay? And the very middle is 11. Now, for some reason, setting this up is harder than I remembered. I remembered it being very easy. Okay. We'll just have to play guess and check with this one since we're doesn't remember what I'm doing. So,
don't you post the
I believe if you want the solutions to be 7 and 15, it is x minus 4, the absolute value equals 11. So let's see if this works, if I'm right. So I have x minus 4 equals 11, and x minus 4 equals negative 11. See what I get. If I add 4 to 11, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, I get x equals 15. If I add 4 to negative 11, I get x equals negative 7. So this should be a negative 7. I believe that is my problem. So you put the difference here, and you put the middle here.
How you know to use 4?
Because the distance between 7 to 11 is 4.
I knew that.
Okay. All right, I won't give you problems like that a lot, but they will ask you one or two in your book, which is why I gave them to you. Okay.